Hey everyone, I'm so excited to show you guys this video that I made about this costume. I made this costume in honor of Selena. I've been a huge fan of hers since I was a little girl, and I'm so excited that I got to make this costume, create it, make it my own. I'm not a professional by any means. I just always made my own costumes since I was young, and I just figured I'd try something out and see how it works. If it's confusing at all in any way, I'm so sorry. Please let me know if you have any questions or comments, nice comments hopefully. Please leave me a comment below. Let me know what you think. I'm super excited about this, and I hope you're as excited as I am. I'm so sorry that I'm uploading this a week before Halloween. I've procrastinated for so long, as I do with everything in my life. It didn't take me that long to make the costume, probably just 2 to 3 days, so it shouldn't take you that long. You can use a sewing machine. I did not because I don't know how to use one, so I did it by hand. I really hope you like it, and bidi bomb bomb in it and everything, and just really enjoy it. Okay, love you guys.
To begin the costume, you're going to need 2 pairs of purple leggings. One's going to be for the top and the other is for the bottom. Put the ones that you're using as the bottoms aside because we're going to work on the top. Grab a pair of scissors and start cutting the inside seam of the leg. Now the reason why I got 2 pairs of purple leggings is because I did not feel like making my own leggings because I knew that would take a while. So I figured since they would be the same color, I could just use the second pair as the top because it's very stretchy material. Now once you get to the crotch area, you're going to fold that in half and cut it in the middle all the way to the top. I'm sorry I didn't realize the camera wasn't showing this angle, but you get the idea. Now you're just going to do the same thing to the other pant leg and cut along the inside seam until you get to the bottom. Just keep cutting, almost at the bottom. And voila, you have your top. I know the edges look really funky, but don't let that discourage you. The material is very stretchy, and that's why it's going to work and it's going to look great.
For this part, you're going to be needing the top, the cut up pieces from the leggings. It's okay if it's like rigid, it's going to happen because it's going to fold in anyway. What you'll be doing here is make sure that the top part of the pants that you cut is actually going to be at the bottom when you attach it to your leggings. Basically, you're going to sew this part of the top to underneath the pants like this. And you're going to sew this part to this part of the shirt. Clearly it has to cover the boobage, or else, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but if you want to be like Selena, look like Selena's jumpsuit, you're going to need a cover. It's not a bustier or a busticaca. So then you're going to be sewing this part to this, like that. So it's going to look like that. Excuse my bra. And then you're going to do the same for the other side. Make sure top is on the bottom. You're going to cross it like this. Bada bing, bada boom. I am going to sew this pant to the leggings right now. So I don't have a sewing machine, so I'm going to do it by hand. And that is going to include this polyester thread, which relatively matches the leggings, with one of these bad boys. Because it's not too big of a section. It's only like here and here. I'm going to do probably about a foot long. Now that I've got my thread with the little knots on the end, I have to make sure that I knot it on the same exact spot, or else it will go through the thread with the clothes. I don't know if your leggings will have like this little print on it, but you need to make sure that that's facing, you facing your body. So that way it doesn't face out, because you don't want like the edges to roll, these edges to roll outwards. You want them to roll inwards. And then sew them onto the pants. And then I will demonstrate that right now. Anything for Selena! Okay, so this looks a little silly. Here are the pants, and I have safety pins. I had to put them on. I put them on over my pants because I didn't have the time to change. So what I'm going to do is attach it with safety pins. I need to bring it down. It looks so ridiculous right now. Because this is going to go over the right breast. We want a little bit of the belly button showing. She had like a little shape here. I look like I'm doing Girl Scouts. You're going to pin it on the inside. So belly button here, pants here, and safety pin that on. And then the rest will be like this. There we go. And then you'll do the same for the other top. Make sure the label is facing you, like that, and there you have it. Now that you have that sewed in, or attached, I mean, with safety pins, you're just gonna sew the inside in the pants, and then we will work our way to the top. So we cross the tops, and it'll look like that. There we go. There. Without the boob showing.
As you can see here, I started sewing where the safety pin was at, but unfortunately this is not the correct way to sew this kind of fabric because it is so stretchy that the stitching and the thread will come undone. So I explain after this part that you're going to need to sew over the pants and through. Over the pants and through. And don't worry about the stitching showing afterwards because the sparkles will cover them.
I just finished sewing the top part to the pants, and I looped this around the back, and I attached it with safety pins so that I know where to sew it. So I did one up top and one here at the bottom. So I'm going to be sewing this together. After you sew those things in, that's when you'll kind of see how this is looking. So this can be a little loose. You get some ragged edges. You can sew this part close down, which is what I'm going to be doing because I don't want this too high. And this will naturally just kind of roll in. And if there's any parts that are still loose down here, you can bring that down and then sew it. Another thing that I wanted to add, I did have a little bit of difficulty sewing this part, so I just wanted to make sure that you guys know what to do. I did not use a sewing machine. I sewed it all by hand. So I wanted to make sure that you guys know when you sew this, if you were to sew like I did, weaving in and out, at the end when you finish sewing and you're about to, you know, tie the knot or however you finish it, I noticed that, because normally I'll finish it by just tying a few knots at the end and make sure that it doesn't, that way it's not able to go through. But because this is very stretchy fabric, I had to go around. So instead of going just through the pants, you have to go over the pants, the edge, and then go through. So go over the pants and through. And it doesn't really show either, and it really, really made it secure. So that's why it's good to make sure that you wear the pants, make sure that nothing's loose before you wear the costume, because you never know what can happen later. They're really, really secure now after I did that, and it's really, really not noticeable. So you'll be good to go. I'm gonna be sewing this part, and then we're gonna be working on the flare for the pants, and I will show you guys how to do that. Here's the front, and you're gonna turn it over, and you're gonna put the part of the safety pins. It was sticking out like this. You're gonna put that under. You're gonna have extra fabric here, and you're gonna just cut that off. And then sew it from here to here, from the safety pin to the other safety pin. This shouldn't be too long, it's a pretty small part. So I'm gonna do probably about like 8 inches or 10 inches just to be safe. I took out one of the safety pins and I started sewing just once. I went through the back because I don't want the end of the thread to be showing in the front. So I started from the back to the front, and then I will go through loop-de-loop.
My goal here is to make the stitching on the outside as small as possible so that it's not visible. And then I can make it a little bit wider, as I'm trying to show you guys here, but I kind of failed. So I'm trying to make the stitching a little bit wider on the back to get more room, and then I just go through and through the back and through the front. I know this might sound a little complicated to people who either don't know how to sew or use an actual sewing machine, but this is just how I've always done it, and it works and stays intact.
This extra fabric is going to be cut off actually, so I think I can just do that now. But it's not getting in the way. Now I'm at the end. I took out both safety pins and then just see where it might need a little bit more closure. So I'm just kind of going over pieces again so it's not loose. This part underneath was sticking out, so I'm going to go ahead and go back and sew that in. It should look like this. This is the back. This is going to be basically the back of it. So now I'm just going to kind of tie up loose ends. Now I'm just going on the ends and I'm sewing around because it does get loose with the stretchy material. So just kind of pull it apart just to make sure that there aren't any gaps in between. And there are none. So I'm going to go back loop-de-loop. Actually, I'll go through here and then finish it off in the back.
Now we'll get to work on the flare of the pants. For this, you'll need 2 yards of purple fabric that comes very close in color to the rest of the costume. You're then going to start by folding the fabric in 2 halves because this will make both flares. So fold it once in half, then fold it in half again. You're going to measure the circumference just below the knee and calculate it in centimeters. Then you're going to measure the length from under the knee to your foot and maybe add some room for heels. Once you have your measurements, you need to divide your circumference by 3 and then subtract 1. For example, my measurement was 29 centimeters. Divided by 3 is 9.6, subtract 1, and it's 8.6. Then just go ahead and mark it with a Sharpie so you know where to cut it. After you've marked the measurements of the circumference, go ahead and mark the measurements from below your knee to your foot on the fabric in a dotted line all the way across so that you can make a nice round circle. And then you can go ahead and start cutting along the dotted line. Once you finish cutting, flip it over and cut along the middle of the flares so that you can have 2 flares instead of just one big one. Once you've cut the flares, fold them in half and start pinning them along the edges. This keeps it intact so that you can sew it together more easily. Since this material is not stretchy, you can actually sew this like normal, or my normal, I should say, and sew it in and out as opposed to over the fabric.
I'm at the end of sewing it. Then I will close it again by going, instead of in and out, I'm going to be going around the edge, around over on top and through. I'm going to cut it and I'm going to tie a knot, a few knots actually, and then just cut the remainder, turn it inside out, and you have your skirt. The This is the hem. Now, because these pants are stretchy, I'm marking where I want to sew the skirt.
Here I'm showing you the flared skirt pinned to the leggings. I had to put on the leggings in order to do this part because when I tried sewing them on the markings, it was actually crooked. So putting them on first and then pinning them is a lot better, and then you can sew them after you take off the leggings. Note here that I do have one hand inside of the leggings because when I'm sewing the skirt to the leggings, I want to make sure that I'm not sewing both sides of the pants. Then I just spray painted the entire costume with sparkly silver glitter since she had a lot of rhinestones or silvery glitter on her costume. I would not recommend doing it right next to your house though, but I did it just because we have an unfinished paint job on the house. Then I took the cheapest gray shoes that I had in my closet and spray painted the heck out of them with the same silvery sparkly glitter to create the metallic silver effect that she had on the shoes that she wore with her outfit. This was the final touch I did. I just used a hot glue gun and added these big rhinestones to the pants.
Let's begin. Whoa, buddy. Cutting the table.
Hold it.
Be sewing this. I'm talking on the camera. Hi, Hen. Nina, Fofa, go to your bed. Fofa, go to your bed. You playing in the sun? No. I will survive. Hey, hey. First I was afraid. I was petrified. Kept thinking I could never live without you by my side. But then I spent so many nights just thinking how you did me wrong. And I grew strong. Hold up, I need to text my husband back. Y me cuesta palpitar. Did I just say pasta? You're gonna sew this part to the pants after. No. Actually, we should sew this part to the pants first. Aha! Se emociona, ya no razona y me empieza a cantar, me cantar así, así. Bidi bidi bam bam, bidi bidi bam bam, bidi 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 bam bam, bidi 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 bidi. Hey! Just kidding. Giving you guys a free concert.